Oh boy. Uh good good evening. Your Toronto Raptors. Uh they they block history. Um my goodness. All you can do is laugh, I think, at this point. Um I don't know. I might just go over my grade 8 basketball highlights today. I'll talk about the trade in a bit after the um I mean, where do you even where I mean, first of all, everyone knew this was going to happen. No, this is not surprising at all to anyone, joke wise, serious wise. Like I think like even like the Blake Murphys and Eric Kareens were talking about like this happening. Kate Ness might be the only one legitimately surprised. She was just stunned at the idea of more trades coming for this team when Sam Mitchell was talking about it. Just flabbergasted. I don't know what she does during the day. She's a big hiker or something, but I think everybody except her completely saw this coming, predicted this coming, um, and if you're the Raptors, I decided to film this in hell. I am in the fires of hell right now. I'm in Mordor, and maybe you should just talk Lord of the Rings. I could get into some Lord of the Rings talk after. There's some good Lord of the Rings discussion a couple episodes ago, but I mean, you got Scotty Barnes who had 7 points halfway through the fourth quarter. Scotty Barnes had 7 points in 30 minutes. James Wiseman had 8 points in 12 minutes. He ended up with like 24 points. So he got what, 18, 6, 16, 17, I can't even do math, points in the last like few minutes there. He really just kind of came on, but first half he spent the whole game with his arms just out. He just stopped playing on certain possessions to look at the ref. Like how I look at like a puppy or something. Like it's just super cringe. I'm sure he's going to cringe when he watches the tape. The Raptors bench had one field goal in the first half. It was a Thad Young bucket. So they dusted off Thad Young for this one. Um, he can play, I guess, competent basketball, I guess. So we got to see him at the center, which I'm sure Raptor fans are always thrilled to see the first round pick get it. Give Thad a little bit of a run tonight. So that's really nice. You give Thad a nice little run. Jalen McDaniels, who I guess Darko is in love with now after one game. He's the new Malachi. Jalen McDonald's tonight. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Just oh my god, incredible! Like, how did this game not have Precious and Malachi in it? Like, we needed Precious in this game. I needed Precious to just come down the floor and just like chuck up a floater that misses by 18 feet. I mean, the people I feel really bad for are the Raptor fans who are like online. I don't care about the players. I don't care about Masai. I don't care about Darko. I just feel bad for the people who like. I feel bad. Like I don't wear Raptors jerseys. I feel really bad for people who have to like who like decide to go in public like with the jersey on. I do have a Chris Bosh jersey, but it's just way too big for me, and it's not that sexy. I legitimately I've been to Toronto once in my life, and I think the city is probably in mourning right now. I guess Matt and Jack were fine with it. They were like, hey, this is great. Monty Williams is a great coach. This is a great game. What do you guys think? I love Jalen Durr, and they were just like, um, Jalen McDonald was the only guy that got Jack's ire in this game. The rest of it was just like, yeah, it's great. Monty Williams, you gotta love him as a coach. I love this kid, Jalen Durr, and Kate Cunningham. Like they were really into this game. I think the Raptors are gonna go. I think this could start a 28 game losing streak from the Raptors. Um, you gotta. I guess you gotta give a little bit of credit to like Pascal, Dennis, Jakob, even. But I mean, the rest of the team just completely dog fucked this game. Like I've watched every Pistons game since lost 14. A couple of them overlapped with Raptors, but I've pretty much watched every game since lost 14. And I mean, this team sucks. Like they suck. And you got killed. The Raptors got killed. Kevin Knox just, oh my god, like making the faces. Like he woke up today like KD. He was just Kevin Knox scorched earth today. What did he end the game with? Like, okay, 17 points. I felt like it was more impactful than that. 7 for 14 from the floor. You had Cade with 12 assists, 30 points. He was 9 for 20. Not super efficient, but like pretty good. Jaden Ivey just 1 for 5. And then Alec Burks, dropped 16 off the bench. Some numbers from the Raptors. You had Jakob with 4 points, 14 rebounds. Yeah, Jakob with 4 points. You got Thad with 6 points, Boucher with 4 points, McDaniels with 2 points in 17 minutes, a -7, 0 for 3. My fuck was that bad. Like we don't need Precious anymore. You've got Jalen McDonald. I thought Pascal played an overall good game, but lots in the first half, just lots of messy. I don't think the Raptors made a single and one in this game. Um, I don't know if Gary's ever finished through contact. He played pretty good like third quarter. His threes kind of. Why am I even talking about this game in any serious capacity? I mean, it's a joke. Like this team is a joke. They need Emmanuel quickly, like more than anything. They need this team without Emmanuel quickly cannot beat the Detroit Pistons and RJ Barrett. Throw it up to him too. They need those guys badly. Like, I guess they're back for they're gonna be first games against Cleveland. That's gonna be their first game. And yeah, I mean the Raptors are just, I guess, completely fucked without them. But yeah, I think some people are probably upset. I wonder, like people are saying, oh, losing to the Pistons will make Masai make a move. Like, do you think Masai watches the games? I legitimately question that. I guess from today's trade, give him a little bit more grace than that. But um, I guess if they hadn't made the trade today, it would be even worse, in theory. I don't know. I have a whole thing of like notes here, but like, who gives a fuck? Um, Killian Hayes had some really funny turnovers where he jumped and then threw the ball away. James Wiseman, who outscored Scotty Barnes as of 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, in 12 minutes. It's just a stupid shot clock violation. Dennis and Yak had a strong start. I wrote that. Yak good post D. I wrote that. Um, Devlin called Monty Williams Monte Morris. I thought that was very funny. Devlin low key very slipping hard this year. Like, whoa, the Matt Devlin slide has been crazy. Hanging out with Alvin too much. Anyways, it felt like a playoff game in the first quarter. But honestly, like the Pistons were in the driver's seat of this thing for most of the game. I didn't think at any point in this game the Raptors were going to win. Maybe at the very end for like a moment, the Pistons had just a bunch of fuck ups at the end, being like, "Please, can someone please let us make history with this? We're gonna do a bunch of dumb shit. Gonna miss key free throws. We're gonna barely get the ball in, and then when we do, Jaden Ivey. We're gonna fall down with the ball, just like a little kid." I thought Scotty was very like high schoolish in the first half, just complaining like stop. There were multiple plays where he just stopped playing and just went up to the ref like this. Like as the play was happening. I mean, he's a hooper. He's not a history buff, I guess. But yeah, wow. Just it just felt like every Raptors shot was like difficult, late in the clock, contested. Scotty was not being aggressive in the first half of this game. Didn't turn it on until like half into the fourth quarter, where he got like 16 points in a few minutes, and you just have to wonder like where was that, especially when you got a very good game from Mr. I want to say his name right. I always say Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder. It's Dennis Huh. Dennis Huh. He played a good game. He was very good in this game. He was being aggressive. Him and Pascal were being aggressive. Gary was being aggressive for points of it, and the rest of the team. Scotty was aggressive for a few minutes there at the end. The rest of the team just complete no-show. Darko didn't show up to this game either, I don't think. Ken McDaniel's out there for a while and then brought him back in at the end. But you're obviously down players rotation-wise in an already. I mean, not only is Steph Curry not coming off the bench, you don't have Corey Joseph coming off the bench. You don't have Brandon Pajemski coming off the bench. Respect. Make the trade, Messiah. Once again, Cape Your Ness. Shocked. Go back and watch the halftime segment. Shocked. Like almost fell off her chair at the idea of more trades coming. Just, again, what are you doing all day? What are you spending your time with? What are you getting paid to do outside of, hey, everybody, welcome to the show. It's 6 the Raptors are playing the Pistons today. Everybody, like, what are we doing? And the broadcast tonight, just cringe and laughable. Emma J. Brown, kind of friend of the Twitter friend, put out, why can't Matt and Jack just be like, damn, this sucks? Like, why do we have to do this? Like, oh yeah, I work with Monty Williams, yeah, or Monty Morris as Matt Devlin. Well, like, he's a great coach. You're gonna be really happy for him. And I like this kid Duran and Kate Cunningham. It's just so inauthentic. It's just so unrealistic. And Raptors media is kind of cooked. Let's be honest. I mean, even Kayla Gray fumbled with R.J. Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley's name. She's like, yeah, the Raptors, they're bringing in R.J. Barrett and Emmanuel. Like, that was the trade that happened today. Were you hiking or something? Or is everybody in Toronto hiking? Is this like just do the Raptors media just like gather in the mornings and just go on big hikes and just completely not look at what's happening online? Oh my god. Oh man. What a shit show, man. Just I don't know. I don't even know how you I guess the Raptors didn't really care. I don't think. I guess they didn't really care about this. Like, to be fair to them, other than Pascal and Dennis, I don't think any of them gave a fuck about the the historical component. Dennis got up for the in-season tournament. He liked the courts and the jerseys, and he definitely showed up tonight. But wow, like if the game would have ended with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, it would have been the worst game Scotty Barnes has played I've ever seen in a professional setting. Like, I'm sure there were some middle school games. He was putrid. The 3 ball had an extra 8 feet of arc on it, and everyone was long. I mean, I know he's still learning. He's still developing. It's one game sample, but wow, it's just incredible stuff. Pizza party still May 1st, I think, is still gonna happen. But yeah, how do you, the listener, I'll check the chat in a sec. How do you carry yourself kind of as a person associated with, like, I'm legitimately afraid to like open up my internet browser. And it's not because of my search history. It's because of what happened here. I mean, personally, I'm interested to see how Will reacts to this. It's either going to be like a Radiohead, like Fake Plastic Trees type pod, or it's going to be Slayer Raining Blood. And I'm very interested I'm very interested to see how he plays it. Shouts to him for being authentic. The rest of these fucking people are absolutely not. It's the only reason why people watch this channel. Not that many people do, but I think that is really the only reason. Um, I would have given respect to Matt and Jack if they would have just like laughed it off instead of like laughed at the Raptors, like start slandering the team. I mean, you guys go on these fucking Raptors tonight. This is what I don't understand. These guys, these fucking we're in hell, folks. We're filming this. We're in hell. We're filming this in hell. These fucking people who get paid to do this for a living on the broadcast are like, oh, this is great. Yeah, this is excellent. And then they go on Raptors Tonight, which is owned by the Toronto Raptors, a media property owned by the Toronto Raptors. And they go, oh, yeah, they need to make some trades. They need to get new blood in. Yeah, this is how, like, and it's like, where is any of this in the experience of watching the game? Like, how are we this like detached? I'm just I feel like I'm very passive aggressive a lot of the time and sarcastic and kind of make jokes about it, but I just want to flat out say the Raptors media landscape fucking sucks. What's going on in the chat? Daryl says the anger is gone. Anger means you expect different. Yeah, I guess I'm more angry with like just the broadcast than the players. I've honestly this team, the trade today I was a big fan of. I actually made a video earlier today about the trade, about just like my initial reaction, and I spent the afternoon kind of looking at some numbers, some stats, how I think those guys can fit in. I'm still trying to let this settle in. I'm very worried to open Reddit. I'm very worried to open Twitter. I think it's a weird emotion. Like I'd say 66% of me just thinks it's really funny, and then 33% of me just feels this like very disgusting shame around like being a participant in any of this, like having a channel that with the name in it. Like it's a line that I have a hard time towing sometimes, and this is kind of one of those situations. I hit the THC oil pretty hard. I don't know if you can tell, I'm pretty out of it right now. Hit the coffee pretty hard. And honestly, I had a lot of laughs. This would have been a great game, I think, to do like a live. This would have been a great like live watch. Maybe I need to do that in the future. At the end there, it was like, because I've watched a lot of these Pistons games, man. They are fucking awful, and especially like late game execution. I mean, you saw it tonight. Just the Raptors had every opportunity, but the Raptors definitely had opportunities to take this one. And in a lot of these games that I've watched, again, I've been on the Pistons loss bandwagon since loss 14. They will like make a little bit of a push at the end of the third, and then the announcers, the Bally Sports Detroit shouts, oh man, I need to download this game because I've been watching all the Bally Sports broadcasts, and they would be like, yeah, the Pistons got their swagger back, down 12 going into the fourth. And even when they like had a bit of juice, they would always find a way to lose it. They would always find a way to fuck it up. And in this game, again, you had those missed free throws. You had those really, really sloppy Raptors going into full court press, and the Pistons like middle school shit, like falling on the floor, a stupid little pass to the corner. You're not supposed to pass it to the corner. That's where you get trapped. You're supposed to stay in the middle, but they don't do that. They do literally everything wrong. Man, but it didn't look like it. There's been a lot of, I would say the last probably 10 games. So this would have been loss 29 for the Pistons. So the last like 10 games that I've watched, like since loss 18, the other team has really locked in and like tried to win the game. Like really been like, this cannot happen. And it was Scotty for 5 minutes, Pascal for most of the game, Dennis for most of the game, and the rest of the roster, Darko. I don't know if there's any Darko. Like I gotta get 8 gallons of water into my mouth. Get this man a bigger water bottle. He's got one of these just shitty plastic. Fucking. By the way, I don't condone plastic. I got someone brought this from a baseball game, and I'm just like, well, I may as well use it and ingest the plastics into my own body as punishment. Um, so a lot of people in the chat are talking about Darko, and yeah, I agree. This wasn't Darko's greatest game. Um, Iconic One is blaming Dennis for this. Buddy, we're watching. I'm sorry, but you have to start your own YouTube show. Like, you need to start your own fucking channel, because that is like, that is a galaxy brain take. I know I'm fucking sarcastic most of the time, but that is if you oh my god, man. You guys, you're so washed, man. That's crazy. Nameless says, all I gotta ask, why was Thad Young playing more than 0 minutes tonight? I mean, it's the outgoing pieces in the trade. But yeah, I don't know. He was probably the best bench player. Oh man, I can't believe this guy's blaming Dennis for the loss. That's like funnier than the game. Like, oh my god. Dennis had 30 points. Everybody show some love to Iconic in the chat. He's dumb as shit. Oh my god, man. 11 for 18. He was actually a plus in the game too. Oh my. Anyways, the chat giveth and the chat taketh away. Yeah, I don't know. I've got some more notes here. I think that's the most of it. And yeah, I've watched the Nets, the Celtics, the Jazz beat this team with fucking no one, without the big shotgun, without Tim Hortons. They beat this team with like their bare bones like a week ago. Other teams got up for this. The Toronto Raptors, and here's an interesting like debate topic. Did they not care about this game, or they just don't care about to the most part, the season? Does Darko give the chain out during losses? I think I'm going to steal this joke from Alex Wong. I think if you're Darko, just go give the Pistons the chain. Just like, there's no more need for a chain. There's I think the whole Tony Robbins, Matt Devlin type thing. I think you gotta put that to bed. Yeah, Hermes Currybro says the Jazz started Fontecchio and won. AB says I fear Drake might have to intervene. Do you guys think it's funny though? Like, do you folks, like, what do you guys feel? Like, what are the emotions? Let's therapy session. Is it anger? Like, what stage of grief are people at? I mean, this team really just does not have depth, shooting. But I think I think if you're like the Will Liu type who like is emotionally attached to it, this is probably got to be the worst loss of the season, I would think. What was it? I think 4 games ago. Who did they lose to 4 games ago? Where I said it was probably the worst loss of this. We also need to rank the losses out at some point, because there's been some. I mean, the Portland Trailblazers one sticks out to me, where Malcolm Brogdon just like cooked them down the stretch of the fourth quarter. But the Jazz, speaking of the Jazz, yeah, they lost to the Jazz 6 days ago. And I thought at the time, Ochai Agbaji went off. I thought that was like the worst loss. But yeah, if you're like an emotional attached person to this thing, this is probably the toughest loss. But I think pretty much everybody saw this coming. I mean, I don't gamble on sports. I don't even know what it means. I don't even know what does plus 800 mean you bet $800 to win one back or something? I don't know. But like, if I was a gambling man, this is the one I would have taken the taken the Pistons on. I'm actually like I am grieving that the thing I'm actually grieving about right now, like the thing that really, really was like in the pit of my stomach the last couple weeks, something that I've been like just dreading these last 14 days, up to like looking forward to this exact moment, is I had a Chauncey Billups Detroit Pistons jersey, like the 2006 era Pistons jersey. I guess I lost it during a move. Would have loved to have worn that tonight. I wore the Jazz hat when they that worst loss of the season. But yeah, I fully expect the Raptors to maybe go on their own losing streak now. They've lost. I feel like they've won 2 or 3 of their last like 12 or something. The Toronto Raptors, by the way, and Detroit Pistons, put this on Twitter. They've both spent a total of 2 days above 500 on the season. The Raptors and the Pistons. So, there's the 4 days in October. The Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees. That was 4 days in October. This was 2 days in October. I guess I'm interested to see Raptors tonight. I'm interested to see other people's reactions. I didn't really understand why he didn't put Yak in. So I guess some stuff for Darko. Yak only scored 4 points, which is embarrassing. But there was other aspects of the game I thought he did really well at, and Thad was they're probably their best bench player, but I thought he was really struggling in this game. And I didn't understand why Jakob didn't get put back in. I know Jakob's been benched in the second half 3 of the last 4 games, and I've agreed with that in all those benchings, and I've given lots of props to Darko for doing that. But in this game in particular, I thought he was effective at the rim on defense. He got 14 rebounds in this game. Thad just did not have this. The Pistons are a bigger team. That's like the only thing that they kind of have as like an aura is like they're large. And so to have Thad as your center, it's just, and again, I mean, the bench, 1 basket in the first half, a Thad Young basket, 1 basket. But like, Darko, I mean, the only other option he would have had, Garrett Temple's in a suit and you've got Grady Dick. So like on one hand, yeah, he made some questionable rotations, but I don't really know like what other game plan was really available for him to go to. I'm still laughing about Iconic blaming this game on Dennis, but so I guess New York isn't suing us anymore. Oh god, the chat sucks. Okay. So you talk a little bit about the trades. Maybe look at the box score first. Let me look at the box score for a little bit. Angelo, you're rough in the chat. I'm not going to lie. Let's look at the box score. Bogdanovich, 19. Knox, 17. Duran, 18. Cunningham, 30. Ivy, 12. And then 16 from Burks off the bench. And I guess you could say that the Pistons played well. I mean, I thought they had a lot of easier shots than the Raptors did. The Raptors, the Raptors went 12 for 24 from 3. The Pistons went 12 for 28 from 3. So 50% and 43%. So kind of an odd game with that. Pascal Siakam, again, he was great in this game, but has he ever hit 2 free throws, or has he ever like, can somebody tell me, has Pascal Siakam ever gone 0 for 2 or 2 for 2 from the free throw line? I don't think I've ever seen it. It's guaranteed. You can write it down, 1 for 1. So he was 5 for 8. Tonight, he makes his free throws, the Raptors win. But you can't, he was really one of the only people who showed up. But tough from the free throw line. Not horrible, but 23 for 28. And I thought the Raptors were getting more calls down the stretch, but there's nothing like, I think Scotty is really the only one blaming the ref in this game. I think everybody else just kind of saw it for what it was. That was just so bizarre. He's going to cringe when he watches the film from the first 43 minutes of this game. Getting outscored by James Wiseman is tough. And James Wiseman played 12 minutes and Scotty played 30. So I don't know how he ended the game with 22. That's like what is that? 14 points, 15 points in like 4.5 minutes. And it looked, I don't say it looked effortless, but when he was scoring at the end, he was getting into the paint. He stopped taking threes. He went 1 for 5 from 3 in the first half, I believe, pretty much like all of them in the first half. And then he just, at the end there, got more into the paint. But he ended the game 8 for 20. Pretty tough. Yeah. If you look, Emmanuel quickly and Scotty Barnes. I guess Scotty dropped off a little bit, but they both have exactly 39.5% from 3. I guess after this game, Scotty might go down to like 39 flat or something. Good pull-up threat. He can play on the ball, off the ball. It's good. I already talked about this for like 52 minutes earlier today. But I did say I would get a little bit more into it. So looking at Emmanuel quickly, the last 4 seasons, I believe, he's been a plus, box minus every season. And RJ Barrett has been a minus every season. It's kind of a funny thing that stood out to me looking at the stats. And also, RJ Barrett being on the starting lineup is kind of sus. But I mean, Emmanuel quickly is the main asset in the trade. I think a lot of people can agree on that. Obviously, it's hard to fully analyze without knowing like what the future contracts are going to be. Emmanuel quickly is an RFA, so that means that the Raptors can go above the cap to pay him. And ideally, hopefully, there's been some discussion about him re-ing up after this season, and it's going to be an opportunity for him. He's coming off the bench behind Brunson. He's done really well in starts. He averages 23 points a game in starts, shoots 40% from 3. And I put a little highlight reel on Twitter. In one game, he started in place of Brunson. He went for 40 points on 14 for 18 shooting, 9 assists. It's fun. He's a fun player to watch. Like, you can go watch his highlights, and I recommend using the high-low website to just you can look at all his possessions, all his scoring possessions, and I'm probably going to do that later tonight. Same with, I'll do that with RJ as well. I think with RJ, it's going to be a different setting for him. Obviously, he's been on the Knicks his whole life. Very kind of grinded out offense, a lot of iso ball with Randall and then Brunson. So I think this will be a little bit more free flowing. Hopefully he'll be able to run in transition. He's a really good finisher at the rim, especially in transition. We saw with Team Canada, he'd get out there in the open floor, really runs the lanes well. The 3 ball slipped to 33%. And I think for him, he's really kind of burdened by being that number 3 pick. Now, in that draft, you had Zion number 1, Ja obviously probably the best pick of that draft. Bang bang, and RJ number 3, and I think that's kind of clouded the value of him a little bit, of him not living up to that number 3 pick. But that doesn't mean he's a bad player. And even if the Raptors don't have him potentially in their long-term plans, he's on a bit of a bigger contract. I think it's 3 years, $90 million, but that's definitely, or around that. I feel like that's definitely tradable if you wanted to trade that in a situation, either for draft capital or more depth or for another player. I don't see that as the negative asset that a lot of people online were kind of, joke. I think more so joking about. And obviously with the Raptors guard depth, anybody, I mean, put me in the game at this point. It's really that bad. And so, all of a sudden, one way to think about it is before the trade, Grady was the 4th guy in the rotation. After Dennis, Gary, Malachi, was Grady. And Grady has the 17th highest field goal percentage on the 905. So that was your depth. And so now Grady slides to 6th, 5th or 6th. So It's a big difference. It completely rebalances, not completely rebalances, but it helps to rebalance the roster. I would say now without Precious, not that he's played that great this season, you're really, I mean, they're probably, I would assume they're going to call up Jonte Porter. I still don't understand how Darko picks the players that he, like, I still don't really understand his process. I think a lot of people are kind of wondering what goes on with that, but you wonder if they're going to call up Jonte Porter. I've watched 3 or 4 of his games in the 905. Really skilled player, can shoot the three ball, can shoot the mid range, has a little bit of a handle, can pass it, just high IQ, makes the right play in the right places, and it's a big dude. So, because the Thad McDaniels at center is just flashes of what Nick tried to do, but Darko does not have the X's and O's or creative ways of maximizing those types of players, at least not yet. So just kind of throwing Thad out there, throwing a small ball McDaniels out there, unless you have a coach that's really built a system that can sustain that. Or because when Nick was coaching, I mean, the Raptors center depth was like Boucher, Thad, Precious. So you were really searching. And so I think part of the strategy, that's why they played the way that they did. In this game, I thought, Jakob didn't score really at all in this game, but I just didn't understand why McDaniels was playing center or playing, over him in key spots of this game. But he did play 35 minutes. So that's the thing. Like, Darko, it's tough, but I mean, like Gary played 39, Dennis played 37, Jakob played 35, Scotty played 36, Pascal played 40. I mean, I guess you could argue, and it's, second night of a back-to-back, they got in at 3 a.m., whatever. But, and, if, to be fair to the Raptors and Darko and Masai and the players and stuff, like, they probably don't really care about this. Like, I mean, to them, it's a loss, and I don't know if Masai, like, watches the games or checks, I don't think he checks Twitter, I don't think he's watching this. I don't think they really care. And they definitely didn't show that they did. So what did you guys think of Darko in this game? What would you Bo says make Darko walk the plank along with Jakob. But again, like, what's your solution? Like, I feel like when I shit on people, I do offer, like, I shit all over them, like, just spray, and then I have a little solution. What's your little solution? Give me a little bit of a solution. Give me a little bit. Just give me a taste. I don't need a white paper. Give me a little bit. Give me a taste. When you go to Starbucks, which I don't go to out of boycott, because the guy who owns Starbucks sold the Sonics to Clay Bennett, who stole them from the city. So hypothetically, if I was in a Starbucks and they bring over like a little iced tea thing for you to try, just give me one of those for your Darko. Like, just give me a little bit of just give me a taste of what you're cooking. I just want to know. Yeah, more Fontecchio comments. Oh God, Daryl says I'm looking at OKC merch. Sorry, I'm a West Coaster, so Sonics fan. I couldn't even entertain the thought of cheering for them, even though Shea's my favorite player to watch. I just watch his possessions. Someone says they feel bad for Quickly. I did have that thought of, like, I hope they're not watching this game. Did they play it? I guess they did. They wouldn't have played tonight. Hopefully they weren't like, hey, let's tune in. But they've played against the Raptors this season. I think they know what it is. Like, I did see some people on Twitter, some American people being like, oh wow, like this is the Raptors. Like, they didn't really, and it's like, yeah, they're just they're like, sorry, I wasn't familiar with your game. Yeah, the people you really got to feel bad for are the people with, like, attachments who have to go out in public with their like merchandise on. Do you guys want to talk about my grade 8 basketball tapes? Darko. Okay, we got a quote from Darko. I told the guys it was not the outcome that we want, but I thought that it may have been one of our harder playing games for the season. So I want to build on this and get better through this. I prefer when he was like, we don't have fucking Steph Curry off the bench. I preferred that. There was a tweet that I think Eric Green maybe put out. There's a screenshot of it that kind of goes around where Darko says, I talked to them at halftime and I told them I didn't expect them to win the game, but I wanted them to play with heart or something. There's something like that. That's got to be like the catchphrase of this iteration of this season. I think it's super cringe. I think the All Out Raptors post and the subreddit, which I might make a video about, that criticized Will for criticizing Darko for being cringe. That was the most cringe thing that's happened by anybody. That subreddit, that post in the subreddit was the most cringe thing I've seen from anybody this whole season. I will continue to obsess about that for the next 10 years. I will be making a video about it most likely because I've made a lot of European jokes myself. But yeah, I think you know, I don't really know lineup wise out of a few tweaks what Darko could have really done that differently tonight. But yeah, overall, I do find his attitude kind of nauseating, to be honest. Like and that's nothing, that's no disrespect. That's nothing against him. I just typically don't get along with those types of people. You meet a lot of them in like Bali, Thailand, Tulum, Mexico. I just don't get the whole, like, I'm not positive like that. I'm much more pessimistic. I'm filming this. I'm in hell right now. We're in hell. And yeah, I mean, it's natural to look at, like, you know, other coaches. Like, I don't think, like, look at Adrian Griffin in Milwaukee or whatever. Like, when he was really under the hot seat, he wasn't like, yeah, this is great. It was like, hey, maybe I'm dumb and the players were right and we shouldn't play drop coverage on defense. So yeah, if your beef with Darko is more like the cringy behavior, I'm totally on board with that. But if you're gonna say this loss in particular was on him, I need to at least I need a little bit of a taste of a solution. But in general, yes, I agree. He has been very underwhelming. Very underwhelming. I was trying to think of a movie you could compare him to. If Darko, that's a good question for the chat. If Darko was a movie, what would he be? Like, what's a highly anticipated, kind of an indie movie maybe, in a way, that just kind of was meh? Like Juno maybe? I don't really remember that movie, but I remember kind of being bored. I watched it on a bus once. Someone says, playing auto when the game is out of reach just to make it clear he could have made it in over McDonald's all night is taunting. Yeah, the Raptors are just getting dunked on. You know, I hate this game. I see why the Raptors fans are so pessimistic about this team. Someone says, now watch Detroit go on another 28-game losing streak just to remind everyone how awful the Raptors truly are. I think the Raptors are going to go on a 28-game losing streak. And oh, here's a good tweet. So they put Pascal on the losing graphic. The Toronto Raptors put Pascal Siakam on the final losing graphic. And somebody said, nah, Pascal doesn't deserve this. It's time we start putting Darko on the losing graphics. It's not the worst. It's not the worst idea. I decided to go with the Cade Kevin Knox graphic. Which, if you just joined us, yeah, Kevin Knox, especially in the first half, like, he was just like KD. They said on the broadcast he was like 1 for 12 from 3 in the month of December, and then he was just lighting it up. Like, powerful dunks, hitting threes. And, like, I honestly felt bad in a way for Scotty because, like, a lot of people don't watch the Raptors. A lot of people online, like, don't know about what he's done, the leap that he's taken. And again, outside of the last 5 minutes of this game, when he had 7 points and was outscored by James Wiseman, it's like you just kind of feel, I mean, it was in his control, but at the same time, like you just kind of feel bad that the one time the world is watching, he did that. Tough, like really tough. And just, again, multiple plays of him just staring at the refs like they were like a cute puppy or something. Jason Poo, good names. Our team would be Office Space. It's one of my favorite movies, but I don't see the connection. Darko's definitely not Lindbergh. What is it? You could ask. One thing you could ask Darko is, my favorite quote of the movie. What is it? What is it exactly? Would you say you do here? Oh my goodness. Do you guys think this is the worst loss of the year? I think it has to be. The Jazz one was bad, but I mean, and I think if you've watched the Pistons this last little while, like it's probably even more. Just because you can watch. I mean, you saw it tonight. Timber says a lot of U.S. broadcasters talk about Scotty like a future star. The broadcasters do, but the general casual NBA public who votes on dumb shit like All-Star or puts dumb shit online, that average person, they're tuning into this game for probably the only time of this year that they're going to watch the Raptors, and they saw that performance outside of with the caveat of the last 5 minutes of the game. That's more what I meant. I know the honestly, like Bally Sports has some really bad broadcasts, but for the most part, the U.S. broadcasts at least are a little bit more like real than what we have. What we have isn't real. It's just Scientology. It's just, oh, it's great. I love it. It's great. You know, hey, we're here playing basketball. Jack once in a while will say something, but for the most part, it's just paint by numbers, fill in the blanks. You know, it's really bad. Not that this is great or anything, but I mean, these people have access to millions of dollars, can hire, huge talent budgets to hire whoever they want. They have really fancy sets, millions of dollars to spend on marketing and studio and graphics and data analysis teams and focus groups. And like, this is the end product that they come out with. And maybe I'm just a complete alien. I mean, I would say most commercials I just watch and I just kind of glaze over. Like this is not encouraging me to like worry about, buying this fucking thing or signing up for this thing, or like, hey, you're fucking stupid. But luckily we have this app, so you don't have to use your 3 brain cells to figure out whether you should buy this stock or not, but you can go to our app. Like all those commercials, like the Gillette, like Team Smooth versus Team Shave. Like I don't like identify with that. I don't get excited about that. That doesn't move me in any way. And I feel like these same focus groups are the ones who are like, hey, on the sports broadcast, don't ever say anything bad about the team you're covering. Always have the host who, if there's any riffing, if there's any riffing at all, like 2 people tossing the ball back and forth, if there's any of that for more than 8 seconds, the host, you got to come in, you got to cut it off, reel them back in, bring it back into the center line, because we got a fucking show to do. Great that you guys are talking, but we have a show where we have to talk. So I need to interrupt you. I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate it so fucking much. I know I make passive aggressive. I hate it more than the Raptors. I don't even care about the Raptors. I hate the. Now I'm getting negative. Darko is Toy Story. That's a good one. Darko is Avatar 2. I have not seen that. Darko is Red Dawn. I feel like I should have seen that, but I haven't. I don't know what it is. Honest Human, best loss of the millennium for Tim Donaghy and the worst loss for Drake. Best lost of the millennium for Tim Donaghy and worst loss for Drake, says Honest Human. And then he says 28-0 Drake finna be in the stew singing sad songs again. Sometimes I wonder, like, who is the algorithm pushing this content to? Like, let's be honest, like, what's going on? Canadian Quality Experience says Canadian broadcast, it feels like every sport besides hockey is like a sideshow. Yeah, hockey, they're a little bit more. I mean, not that I'm a fan of Don Cherry, but like he would just be like, "Yeah, the fucking Europeans suck dick. Like they're fucking stupid. I don't like any of these guys from fucking Sweden. They're a bunch of pussies, and they come over here, and there's a fucking Terry's Orange ad coming up that'll only be here for a couple more minutes. And boy, there's that good Canadian kid. He's got the puck. He's going in. He's going for the dump in. Kids, if you're watching the game of hockey, you want to go for the dump in. You want to be a big guy, big Canadian guy, and you want to hit the fucking Swedes." He hated the Vancouver Canucks. It's mostly Swedish players. Not that I condone the Donald Cherry behavior. He has some really funny tweets where he's like, it's like, hey, I just pulled up to like Moscow and I see Ovechkin clean shaven and I think looks very cute or something. There's a bunch of like weird Don Cherry tweets like that from like 2014. Maybe some repressed stuff. I think that's pretty big in hockey. A lot of psychosexual repression. Probably leave it at that. But yeah, anyways, in hockey, it is a little bit more like a little grittier. You're gonna swear probably a little bit more. I should do hockey. This should be it. I should just quit basketball and just move over to hockey. Start talking about the Maple Leafs. You know, Darcy Tucker. What's he up to? Ty Domi, Matt Sundin. Jason Allison, Curtis Joseph, Cujo. Who else is on the Maple Leafs? Greg Bird. No, it's Blue Jays. Greg Bird. Who else is on the Maple Leafs? Are they good this year? Like, are the Maple Leafs? This is now a Toronto Maple Leafs podcast. Kipper. I got Kipper coming up next. Only played 8 NHL seasons, by the way, Nick Kypreos. I always thought it was more, but yeah, a bit of a bruiser. I love the transition on Sportsnet from like Will Liu to Nick Kypreos. That's just like, it's jarring. It's like going on a Ferris wheel to just like upside down 850-foot vertical drop. It's very different. Although I hope Will is in that mode tonight. He's either going to be disappointed dad or in that mode, or maybe just pure apathy. But I'm interested to see that. Yeah, what's Cujo's save percentage this year? Is he blocking a lot of pucks? You know, does he got the blocker out there on the snapshot? Was he got the goalie glove out there and the pads? Did Don Cherry like Cujo? Was Cujo Canadian or American? I used to be into hockey until a specific team starting with a C they're literally just a bunch of C's. They ruined it for me. But hey, if you're if you're a Blue Jays fan, you didn't get Ohtani, but they got IKF, Yankee favorite. John Boy Media company favorite. So that's fucking exciting. IKF. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa? Some people's names just sound like food. Like Jason Gioza on the Nets back in the day. Timothy Luwalu-Cabarro. Luwalu-Cabarro. I was like, that is a nice French restaurant. Ime Udoka sounds like a dish. I don't know. What am I doing? We're at that point. Ed Belfour. Wasn't he drunk like all the time? Was that Ed Belfour? Ed Belfour. He was on the Blackhawks. Ask me anything about like the NHL in 1997, and I can just rattle it off for you. I think he was on the Blackhawks. Ed Belfour. Ed Belfour. Great grab. Yeah, let's just talk hockey now. Fuck this. Fuck basketball. Leafs are still depressing. Iconic. I don't think I've ever heard you swear. Are you fucking serious? You're just, I mean, how you're so bad in the chat tonight that it's actually like entertaining me. It's actually good. Red Dawn, Patrick Swayze. Okay, so that's an older movie. I should know that. I only know. Sadly, my brain just went to Trailer Park Boys. You guys want to talk about Trailer Park Boys? I did watch. So my favorite Trailer Park Boys scene. What's in the chat? Tell me, what's your favorite Trailer Park Boys scene? So I was watching. It's actually on YouTube. The full episode is season 5, episode 1. Can't remember what the title is, but I started watching it like a week or two ago, and I've watched Trailer Park Boys all the way through like a bunch of times. But it's been a few years. I wasn't quite sure the entire episode, but it had the scene with Dennis and Terry's Japanese grandmother, where they go in and Bubbles is like, hey, my voice is too fucked up right now to try to do Bubbles' voice. I used to be able to kind of do it, but no, I can't do it. You just want to buy your dope. No, I can't. That was Jordan P. Well, Ricky, I was thinking maybe we could go get high. That's Michael Grange. Oh, I don't know. I can't do that voice for more than like 12 seconds. I don't know how does Jordan Peterson talk like that? My like throat muscle starts spazzing out. Ow. But yeah, they're in the Jordan Peterson and Trailer Park Boys would be really funny. Why are you guys smoking all this dope? Why don't you get something going on in your life? You're collecting barbecues out here like a fucking loser. Why don't you go over to become a psychology professor? That's where the real big dicks are. He's got the accent for it. Actually, he would be. Yo, we need that. Trailer Park Boys season 27 or whatever it's on right now. Bring in the dark professor. Oh my God. Is that a hash driveway? Have you guys considered reading the Bible? It's got a lot of allegories in it. Why are you making hash driveways? Oh man. Sure. Oh my God, I'm gonna be thinking about that. Oh, it's so perfect because the accent is so he would be the perfect. I don't know. I've never thought of this before. Literally, you could drop him into any of the seasons and he would be incredible. J-Rock, why have you considered not jerking off all the time and maybe getting a little bit of disciplined? That's Michael. That was very Michael Grange. So the difference between Jordan Peterson and Grange is when Grange talks like that, he's like excited about life. Like it's like, well, the guys out there, they're playing a good game, and if you're the Toronto Raptors, then you're gonna make the trades, and whereas Jordan Peterson is just more like he's just trying to make it through the day. Like he's just trying to go 4 minutes without tweeting something. But he would, oh my God, would he be great on that show? Fuck, like the wrestling episode with Bubble. Hey, we got the the green bastard. He's a real fucking look at this condo over here. We got the green have you ever considered getting out of the wrestling game and stopping jerking yourself off there in bud and get a little thing going? Oh, it's just turning into Michael Grange. Patrick Scaladon said, I don't really care. Steve Rogers. I don't know what you're talking about. Quality experience. Jordan Peterson and Trailer Park Boys would be fire. Oh my God. Literally, you could put him into like any episode.
Why did you call him Steve French? Any is there any the French? If you look at the French culture, it's very cucked. Their history. They just haven't. They've made a little some art and.
Oh God, I need water. Could you put Tony Soprano in Trailer Park Boys? I think that you could have a version. Like, what the fuck? What are you in this fucking trailer for? What are you fucking stupid? Crystal Bubbles, Julian, get the fuck over here. What the fuck are you guys doing? This is how you fucking move and dope. It's hard to go from Jordan Peterson to. I need a throat massage. You know those muscles in the front of your throat? I used to play the trumpet in high school, and I need to get back. I need to get back to that. God, Jordan Peterson. That's all I want to think about now.
Is that all you guys do? Is sit around and smoke dope? That's a woke rocket you got there, bud. Where'd you get that from? The store over there? Yeah, they got a bunch of. I don't know. I wouldn't go into there. And well, if you shoplifted, then I guess it's an act of valor. When do you guys just sit around and smoke dope? Randy Leahy, I don't really agree with your lifestyle, but that's why they put me in the show, to be a little shit disturber. I don't really condone dressing up in a fucking bumblebee costume and having that kind of relationship. It goes against God and the Bible.
Oh, I'm losing it. Oh. Jordan Peterson and Trailer Park Boys. Iconic. Okay, here we go. Iconic with a rare W tonight. I have Leahy's autograph and met Randy once at the club. Was it the club where J-Rock... or no, was it the club where...
Well, you got Corey and... I don't want a fucking massage from Corey and Trevor. Get your hands off me. That goes against my religion there, bud. I don't want a man touching my fucking back.
That's cool. Matt Leahy. R.I.P. to... what's Jim Dunsworth, I think his name is? Fuck, he's so good in that show, man. I first got into... my mom got me into Trailer Park Boys, which is hilarious. I was way too young to watch it. I think I walked in on her watching it once. Probably honestly, like, it might have been like grade 4 or 5. And when did Trailer Park Boys start? Because it was as it was going on. Like, it was as it was live. I'm just gonna look up what year it started. Trailer Park Boys, 2001. Yeah, so I would have been grade 2001. That's when 9/11 happened, and I was in grade 5. So I probably first started watching it maybe grade 6. So yeah, pretty young. Ironically, my mom would always be like, I don't know how they have all these kids on the set when there's all this swearing. It's like, well, yeah, I'm like 10 years old. But anyways, but that was a huge, like, culture in my high school. Like, that was, people talked like that at parties. Like, like, we would drink, like, Old English and just say everything was greasy. We would loop, like, Paul Wall tracks and just drink Old English and smoke weed and listen to, like, Kim Mitchell. What's that Kim Mitchell song? Oh my god, we're really getting into the hockey genre here. Kim Mitchell, he had that one huge song that is always reminds of Trailer Park Boys. Lager and Ale, I think it is. What's your favorite what's your favorite Trailer Park Boys episode? It's another one I would ask. I think for me it's either the Rush episode or the barbecue episode, but my favorite scene is still the Dennis and Terry. I just like, it's just like comedy gold, the way that they stay in the bit of, like, taking care of their grandma, and, like, she's, like, serving a little sushi tray, and they've all got their guns out, and they're, like, still, like, bowing to her, and, like, it's just so funny. And then Cyrus rolls up, You showed up in a fucking limousine.
You showed up in a fucking limousine.
Yeah, you could put him in any episode. Any episode. You know, he's just going to hate Randy and Leahy because of their lifestyle. He's just going to berate the fellas and the boys for just smoking too much dope. But he's dumb enough to get caught up in all the schemes. Oh, God, he's so perfect. Oh, God, they got to do that somehow. Can we raise money for that? I know the actors are all like 50 now, but like, can we raise money for that? Oh, God, he's so perfect. Sopranos Trailer Park Boys crossover. Yeah. I think I'm kind of losing energy, losing consciousness. I did talk about the trade in an earlier video from today. What kind of initial reaction? I don't really like doing that type of content. I only did it because it was like the biggest trade in the last like 4 or 5 years. But I like to kind of let it play out, kind of watch it play out. I am really excited potentially, especially about the Quickly fit. I do enjoy watching him. He is a player that when he's on the floor, you know, my favorite player growing up was Allen Iverson. I don't know if I've said that already. I'm losing consciousness, but I just like players like that. They can dribble, they can shoot. Very rare on the Raptors. Just like, to be honest, the only reason really that Jalen McDaniels is getting a look is because he can dribble a ball. That is one thing he can do. And it's just, I mean, this team really is lacking that. OG didn't have a handle. Precious didn't have a handle. So like I said earlier today, you are kind of getting rid of two guys who played somewhat significant minutes who just can't dribble a basketball. So you're upgrading that. And then salary-wise, potentially, with what OG is going to probably command, the salaries might actually like equal out between OG Precious on one end, I guess Malachi, and then Quickly and Barrett. So, you know, if Quickly makes the jump that you would assume, you know, again, in his starts, he's averaging 23 points a game. He has really good pull-up numbers, has good mid-range numbers. He takes 49% of his shots from three, so he loves that shot. And I think most of them are above the break, which the Raptors just really have not had that threat. And it really is a threat. Like, it's almost like not all points are created equal, because when you have a player, he's the same player profile as Maxey. Obviously, he's not like at that level, but that's the same player profile, like same shot diet, same kind of style of play. And you've seen that against the Raptors. When you have to guard vertically, like north-south, it completely like not dismantles, but it really messes up defensive coverages and just creates so much more space for other people. And so the last few weeks, I guess, not that my opinion matters, and I'm honestly, I don't have like second spectrum or cleaning the glass or any of that shit. But I do think there is something to be said about, you know, and today maybe is a reflection of that, but you keep Scotty, Pascal, and you just like everybody else is gone. Like everybody. I'm not saying that's gonna happen. I'm not even necessarily saying that's what I would do, gun to my head, but in theory, that could work, I think, with shooters around that, because, you know, you're going to have at least a bit of a defensive floor with Pascal and Scotty with the length. And I know people say like Pascal isn't a shooter. Scotty has a 0.7 higher true shooting percentage than Pascal this season. So it's a little bit overblown, I think, but obviously not a 3-point threat. But if you've got Quickly and then ideally at least one more good 3-point shooter, and I don't even know what this has to do with Gary. That's an interesting conversation. there's a few ways you could look at that. I think on one hand, in theory, he's a he's a good shooter. He's good tonight, and he's been better lately. So it's like on a team that's really desperate with shooting, do you just kind of have to retain any shooting that you have, or is it because I don't know. I kind of have a feeling that there's gonna be more, like there's gonna be more moves. I don't. It would surprise me if they make a trade in December, and Jakob was better tonight. I mean, 4 points is rough, but he was better tonight. But bench 3 of the last 4, or I guess 3 of the last 5 now games in the second half. So if you bring quickly in December, you are, and this is like the 4th or 5th most important thing. This is not like the main reason for God, I hope not. Seeing if there is chemistry with Jakob, because quickly does play, PNR. And I think that's maybe one of the reasons why they wanted to get it done earlier is to see how it fits before the trade deadline. And then at the trade deadline, it's like, all right, Jakob, call the Knicks back up again. Evan Fournier, get your ass on. You're not coming to Quebec, but you're coming to the next best thing. You're coming on Ontario, bud. It's not quite France, but you're gonna be away from America, and I mean, then what do they do for center though? So it's tough, but that's why they get paid millions of dollars, and that's why I'm in a fireplace. So honestly, in the back of my mind, I'm just thinking of Jordan Peterson on Trailer Park Boys, and I can't really think of anything else. I almost want to like edit that'd be hard. That wouldn't really work. Like editing. Wow, edit. Wow, I take really strong THC. By the way, it's 30 to 0 THC. Like I'm fried on these things. By the way, on these post game shows, like I am fried. Could I edit him in? What did I say before? Could I edit him in somehow to? I don't know. He's not really ever in trailer parks, is he? Is there any videos? He's not Lawrence Southern. Is there any videos of him in trailer parks? You guys ever been to a trailer park? My mom's friend's mom used to live in a trailer park. I don't know. They would just like smoke in there and have really bad snacks, like cheap kind of cracker type things, and so much cigarette smoke. And the combination of just very dry snacks, lots of cigarettes. Could have gotten better snacks without the cigarettes, I think, but it wasn't an ideal experience. I think I'd rather live in like a camper or like a van. What do you guys think? Would you rather live in a van or a trailer park? Like a van, you could park somewhere, go for a hike, maybe see Cape Yorness out hiking instead of thinking about things to talk about on the show. Click says, what you be smoking on? You take edibles. Yeah, so training for the Raptors 905. I used to smoke apple pipes. So I used to make a fresh apple pipe every 3 or 4 days. Do carrots sometimes. That gets really messy when you're like making the carrot pipe with like a screwdriver and you're in your underwear that has holes in it and your neighbor's looking at you and you're like, it's like a very upstanding, very nice Vietnamese family that gives you fresh plums. And you're just like, oh, yeah, how's it going? I would smoke out of the apple pipe, and then I would go to the park and I would do a workout. And I kind of had like some tricks down. I actually took videos of this. I should post them. I'm not in the attire, but just like smoking the apple pipe, going over to the monkey bars, doing a little like somersault on the monkey bars, and then landing and exhaling at the same time. Thought that was kind of fun. But yeah, I just take oil. It's just like a syringe type of thing, but it's strong stuff. It's Red, not a sponsor, but I think Redican. It's the 30 to 0 TH. So there's no. It's just straight poison. When I did smoke, my favorite was Durban poison. I used to get. God, I love that strain. I used to just get ounces of that off of a website that is probably completely legal. Completely illegal delivery service. Definitely a sativa person though. My cousin grows on Vancouver Island. He just bought a house last year, and you can only have 4 plants, which is lame. And his I guess wife now. Congratulations. She's kind of a little bit more like we got to follow the bylaws. But if it was up to him, he would have like 30 plants, I think. But you can only grow 4. But his were like 10 feet tall. Like he's grown like every very industrious little fella. My cousin, not he's the same height as me, which is not that big, but like he used to grow them in like his father's basement without him knowing. I mean, it's a huge fucking house. It's basically a castle on the island. But like in the basement with the fucking like floodlights and shit. But now he has his own property, so he's got these 4 like 10-foot plants. And I was like, man, it'd be interesting, maybe at some point to make like Raptors weed, Pascal sativa, OG. Oh, I guess not OG anymore. OG. I mean, the names for OG are all over the place. Precious would have been like a super crazy sativa. Like Precious could have been like a lemon Z Durban poison hybrid or something. Jakob would be indica for sure. Like a kush, you just go right to sleep. Put this man to sleep. Iconic says, I love this content. Thank you. Pale Fox, you look cozy by the fire. There you go. Started out in hell, but we're now in heaven. But yeah, I wish I knew how to grow weed. My landlord actually grows weed at the house here that I live at, so could probably learn from her. But yeah, she has like 3 plants, or she had 3 plants in the backyard. October is kind of the cutoff. But yeah, I've definitely thought about that, like, cause yeah, my cousin basically has like there's a few acres of land. And he grows. He's the opposite of me. Like he's never bought anything online in his entire life. He's never on the internet, never on social media. Just has like greenhouses full of like peppers and shit, and is like, yeah, we're making salsa. But we're very close. So, do you guys want to hear about my family dynamics? What else? What do we got? Hour 17 into this thing. Is this going to be a 2.5 hour show? Any other thoughts from the game? I mean, I think I'm wearing my plantar fasciitis socks right now and I'm losing balance. Do you guys ever roll your feet with a baseball? I like that. I like doing that. I'm doing that right now, but you can't see it. Nameless says, the best Trailer Park Boys scene is when Trevor and Corey rob the laundromat and Corey starts rapping and Trevor tells him to stop. Yeah, I fucking love Corey and Trevor. And it's really sad how they treated Trevor, like in real life. Like Trevor like wasn't paid properly or something, and then he like quit the show, which is a very like they treated him like he was literally Trevor. I think that was in season 6, because I think he like leaves or something and is not in season 7. I could be wrong. I've never watched anything past season 7. Again, I've said this before, but I watched 2 minutes of season 8, the first episode, and I'm like, I can't watch this. Like, different camera, different editing. The actors are 10 years older, different production company, different sound. Like, everything is different. Like, this feels like it gets lost the lo-fi, you know? It's like when Burzum albums started getting overly produced. It's just like, no, I want it recorded in a good studio, but with shitty equipment, so it sounds like shit. That's how I like it. I even stopped compressing Raptor Moments episodes. I used to compress them, and then I'm like, no, fuck. I don't want it to sound like I'm in a cool room. Like I want it to sound like shit. Pale Fox says the Knicks are going to be starting Precious with Robinson out. Over Hartenstein? No, that can't be right. Need a fact check on that. It's going to be interesting to see Tibbs with Precious. I mean, Tibbs is not really like a vibes man, so that'll be an interesting dynamic with Precious's call it a unique approach to offense. Just a unique approach to basketball. Again, I think New York's a great fit for Precious. He can go to the art museums. He can DJ. Probably a good wine scene there. I would maybe guess. But he'll have fun. He'll be in the art stuff, fashion, all that stuff. On the court, I don't really know how that's going to work. Malachi, I put out on Twitter that he's going to be like the scene in The Office where Michael goes to New York and gets his favorite New York slice at Sparrow's. The problem is like, let's talk about sitcoms now. British Office is like, people like it, but it is criminally underrated in my opinion. And I should post more British Office clips. I just feel like not enough people have seen it. It's not as like relatable. But yeah, British Office, especially Chris Finch's character, especially the trivia episode where he throws the shoes over the building. I mean, just amazing stuff. Yeah, gonna miss Malachi. The farting video that I made that Blog TO wrote an article about all-time Raptor moments. So shouts to Tacoma, Washington, right down the highway, right down the I-5 highway from me. Really going to miss him bringing the ball up, passing it to the two guard, and then making a non-aggressive cut to somewhere. Really going to miss that. Going to miss Eric Flynn. Is Eric Flynn going to start getting on Tibbs for not playing him over Brunson? Probably going to see that. We had Nick Nursery. I came up with Darko Reject My Sonovich. So Tom Thibodeau. Like, what name is Eric Flynn going to make out of Tom Thibodeau? Tom Thibodeau. It's an interesting name. Tom Thibodeau. Tom. It's like a very Larry David name. Tom Thibodeau. I can't think of any puns Eric's probably already at the drawing board. I think my favorite like Malachi post ever though was he was at a it was like the Flynn family. I mean, the draft photo is incredible with the undershirts, but there was a Flynn family photo. That's a nice Flynn family. Wow, Flynn family photo. Say that. Flynn family photo with the most insane tile pattern I've ever seen. And I put it on Reddit and I said, like, are there any tile nerds that can tell me, is this like a normal thing that people do with their tiles? And people are like, yeah, I think it's more of an Italian type thing. It was just like wild to me. And the person who took the photo, the tiles took up like 80% of the photo. And there's just the little Flynn family, Yeah, he's going to have fun in New York, man. Happy, just Malachi, the Kevin McAllister, Home Alone, just walking around New York City. I did it when I was 13. I've told that story before, but I was on a band trip to New York City. We stayed in Elizabeth, New Jersey, but we took the bus into Manhattan every morning. And one day in Times Square, I was in grade 8, so I was 13. And we had to buddy up, a buddy system. So I found another 13-year-old, Colby. Shouts to Colby. And they were like, yeah, stay in partners. This was 2005, so like post 9/11. Stay in partners, and you can go. Just come back here where in whatever time, and try to stay within Times Square. And we went all the way to like, I'm gonna say like I think it was in the 20s. Like we fucking walked a little chunk of Manhattan by ourselves at 13. So that was cool. I don't like big cities, but I like New York. I like Ho Chi Minh, Vietnam for a big city. Bangkok, not really. Bogota. Because I haven't been to that many big cities. LA. Vegas. Ugh. Miami. Ugh. I think the worst places I've ever been in my life are Vegas, Cancun, Miami. These little towns in Utah that I still have like nightmares about, where it's like you're just in the complete fucking middle of nowhere. There's literally a place called Clive, Utah. You can look that up. I don't know why I think about that sometimes, but like just horror movie shit. and a bunch of towns in like northern Nevada. Like it's you're driving through. I think it's called Elko or Winna something. Winna Wanamaker, some Winna something, and Elko, those places. And it says like on the sign, I'll never forget this. It's like, "Welcome to the armpit of America." And it's tough, man. I've done some Google Street Views on those places. Brutal. Those are that. Another really really creepy place was Laytonville, California, small town in Northern California. We were on a road trip driving through there at night and just stayed in this like really shitty motel next to the side of the highway, like super like Norman Bates Psycho type shit. And that place just, even thinking about that place just haunts the shit out of me. But yeah, worst places, Cancun. I ended up just in Cancun. I ended up just going to an abandoned golf course and listening and just sitting on the green of like non being used golf course and just listening to an audiobook. That's what I did in Cancun. Hated it. Amazing talk. I went to an amazing taco place. I was mostly there for like a layover. I wanted to break up my flight from Colombia back to British Columbia. Colombia to British Columbia, if that's not confusing. South America to North America. Cancun's halfway between them. Hey, stay there for a couple of days. Walk through the hotel zone. Ended up getting hungry, and I've been to Mexico like 5 or 6 times. Well, my dad used to live in Mexico actually, so like Guadalajara, legit. Like he lived in like actual Mexico, so I've been to actual Mexico. Had like actual good Mexican food at like, and so I'm in this place in Cancun, and I'm very reluctant to go in because I know what it's gonna be. It's like in the hotel strip. It's one of these like chains or whatever, and I'm like, okay, I'll just get like 4 or 5, you know, the tacos are really small, 4 or 5 smaller tacos. They're probably not going to be that good, but I'm like starving and I can't walk any further without eating something. So I sit down, and I think if this would have happened before, I wouldn't have sat down. But like 2 minutes after I sat down, a Disney mariachi band starts playing. Let me say that again. A Disney mariachi band, like a mariachi band playing, like singing Disney songs. I don't know if there was visuals. I don't know if it was a VR show. But like, it's just, and you got all these like 97% white, 97% cooked suntans, just like drinking Corona and cheering. And I'm sitting there and I'm just like, please, someone, if the cartels are coming by and are doing a shootout on the street, just please let me be hit in the spray of bullets at this point. And so I start talking to the waiter a little bit, you know, ¿Cómo está? Bien, ¿Cuánto tiempo en Cancún? Más o menos, dos días y blah, blah, blah. And I said that I used to go to visit my dad in Guadalajara. And he was like, oh, I'm from Soy de Guadalajara. I am of Guadalajara. So he knew that I have had real tacos before. And you could tell he was kind of like he's used to these just stupid fucking, mostly American tourists with big fucking necks that are just cooked red. Just big necks, glasses, you know, American cowboy hats, Quicksilver clothing. I don't know why. So like he delivers me the whatever, I think it was like 4 or 5 tacos, whatever. And just like, you could just tell when he brought it out that he was so not looking forward to the whole event of bringing me the tacos, because he knows I've been to like the real Mexico and this is just like Disneyland, and the Disney mariachi band is still playing and I'm just in hell. And they were so bad. And I'm like, I don't know how you can make tacos this bad with corn tortillas. I was eating meat. Was I? No, yeah, I was eating meat. That's so. I actually went vegan shortly after this. Not related. Maybe this was so traumatic. You got your meat, you got your cilantro, you got your onions. How can you fuck it up this badly? And how can you stupid tourists enjoy this shit? I'm here on a flight layover. Anyways, I finished the 4 tacos. It's kind of awkward. I give him the money, and I immediately get into a taxi. It was like a huge, like a van. Like you could fit 17 people in this thing. And I'm like, yeah, just take me to this other taco place that was in the city of Cancun, like far away from the hotels, which is where my Airbnb was. Stayed in like a $32 a night Airbnb. That was really close to an amazing taco place, far away from the hotel zone. So I went to the really good taco place and hit just like 11 tacos or something. It's just so fucking good. But my God, it was like the worst food I've ever had with Disney mariachi band playing. And that's like a lot of people's experience in Mexico. Even when I stayed in Tulum for 6 weeks, I stayed like in the village. Still cringe for sure, still cringe. But you get up early in the morning. You go. I get up at 6 a.m. I get my 7-Eleven black coffee, very good. 7-Eleven has very good coffee in Thailand, Mexico, maybe other places as well. But get my 7-Eleven, get my coffee, my black coffee, and then I would go to the juicery. I had a juice connection in Tulum. You get 2 liters of green juice or beet juice or whatever combinations of juice for really cheap. I'd load them into my bicycle, and then I would ride for like an hour and a half as the sun was coming up, and it's really warm even before the sun's coming up. And I'd have like Smashing Pumpkins going, just great shit. What am I talking about this? What am I talking about? Woj bomb. Is anybody gonna make a tacos joke from Reno 911? Another elite show that I cannot watch the movies for. I can't even watch like the clips of the movies, which for a long time was the only parts that were on YouTube. But another incredible show, but more so the first like 4 or 5 seasons. It kind of fell off after. But Terry in that show is so fucking good, especially when he's working at tacos. Surprised nobody's made a joke. But yeah, that's my awful Cancun taco story. So the Raptors lose to the Pistons, and all you can do is laugh. Any final words from the chat? Any final parting thoughts before I watch the Return of the King, as I've been doing my normal Christmas Lord of the Rings watch? I think that's it. Eventful day in Raptorland. Very eventful day in Raptorland. And if you're friends with Jordan Peterson, please tell him to collaborate with the Trailer Park Boys. Any situation works. Any scenario works. Any little scheme, harebrained scheme he can get caught up in will work. It's too perfect. The accent is so perfect. Just the eccentric personality. So it's just, oh God, what a fit. What a fit that would be.